Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Out and About in the UK. Coming up a little later, we'll be meeting Phyllis Morgan, co-founder of the Irish Women Survivor Support Network and the Whispering Hope Centre, to find out more about the great work they do in the community. We'll also be meeting Paralympics Ireland, who are in London to launch their awareness campaign in the lead up to the Summer Games in Rio. Last week we featured the Jimmy McHugh Festival, and as we had an amazing response to it, we're going to give you a little bit more from Glasgow.
Jimmy died in January 99, the 12th, and the following year, during the year, Benny suggested to me that maybe it would be nice to do a memorial concert, which we did decide, and then it took off from there, and it's been going for the last 16 years. This year will be the 17th year.
All through the years, there's so many musicians. Some of them are booked, and it's that good they come back themselves the following year and year after year, and it's got known, and there's so many musicians just come for the weekend, which is fantastic to see.
I guested at the festival about 7 or 8 years ago, and every year since I've returned. And what makes it for me is first and foremost is the hospitality, and also meeting all the fellow musicians.
When I'm playing the fiddle and I'm playing, say, with John Bowe, or I'm playing with Benny McHugh, or wherever I'm playing with, I'm speaking to them through my music. We're communicating, we're having a conversation, the same as we would sit down and talk. And it's about friendship.
We're like an extended family. We all know each other, and if we don't, we get to know each other in a very short space of time.
It's just like the great flag holes in Ireland, the early ones. I'd be actually a bit lonely leaving all lovely people and musicians.
I'm married and have two small little girls. My husband is also a musician, Damien O'Brien from Leitrim. So I suppose it just goes to show when you socialise within those circles, how things develop like that too. You know, it is a very small network of people, but a great network, a very tight group of people. The Irish traditional musicians are.
When Jimmy passed away then, and Benny and the lads started running this, of course, came straight over to honour the man and his memory and his music.
The highlight for me would definitely be the different sessions of music, which we can hear musicians playing in such a natural setting and very high standard. I listen to most of them. I'll get involved in a couple of them just so that I can leave a bit of music here as well.
It is all under one roof. There's no running around looking for so-and-so. Everybody's in the bar. If they're not in the bar, they're playing music. Or if they're not playing music, they're asleep. That's all you do here.
They know that they're coming here just to play music, and there's no ulterior motive or anything. They're just coming here to enjoy themselves.
I'll never forget about the third concert. There was a delay letting people into the auditorium for the start of the concert, something wrong with the PA or something anyway. And there was a delay of 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most anyway. But when they said the doors are open, people actually run up the stairs. I see grown people running up the stairs to get a seat.
And of course on Sunday then there's a fantastic session in Sharky's in the Gorbals. And I believe Jimmy started a session there, a Monday night session, and his son Benny keeps that session going to this day.
The concert is always first class and is always so enjoyable, and of course the meeting and greeting of old friends and making new friends. The McHugh weekend has it all.
Been coming for the last 10 years or so, so it's regularly marked on the calendar. I'll definitely be back next year, God willing.
I have to say as well, it's wonderful to see Irish TV here interviewing and covering this event. It's wonderful. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, it really was great to see such talented musicians travel from all over Britain and Ireland to be at this year's Jimmy McHugh Festival. Paralympics Ireland were in London recently to launch their awareness and fundraising campaign ahead of the Summer Games in Rio. We went along to meet some of the team and to find out more.
Well, Paralympics Ireland was founded initially as a coordination commission in 1987, really to bring a number of groups who are involved in disability sport in Ireland and coordinate them into one team for the sole Paralympics. Since then the movement's moved on an awful lot, and so has Paralympic sport in Ireland. We're now Paralympics Ireland, officially renamed and rebranded in 2011. And fundamentally our job is to both develop, build, prepare and get the Irish team to perform at a Paralympic Games.
Describe the fundraising process that the organisation is involved in. Obviously there's a bit of support from the Irish government, but private investment is always very welcome, I'm sure.
Well, we pretty much rely predominantly on that because, whatever you get from the government, there's so many sporting agencies and involvements in Ireland that, there's only a certain pot that the government are prepared to give to that. So, you control what you can control. That's, a set figure. We get told what that is. We always ask for more. But on top of that, we have to try and build on the, I suppose, the generosity of private donations, and whether that's through individuals or corporates, and trying to, I suppose, maximise our exposure. And we're lucky that we have some really, really good and talented athletes at the moment who are being successful on the international stage.
I was the youngest ever Irish Paralympic athlete in Beijing, so I was 13. And then I went to my second games in London 2012, and in 2013 I won my first 2 major international medals at the World Championships in Montreal, so I won 2 bronze there.
So Paralympics Ireland have played a big part in your career so far?
Yeah, definitely. They've supported me since even before Beijing. They've always inspired me, and because of that I've been able to go out there and win medals, and that's what this summer is about. I'm going to be aiming to get on that podium again.
It's been incredible. Obviously I had 2 golds in Beijing and then 2 gold again in London, so 4 Paralympic golds and 2 major championships has been very successful, and just, it's incredible, them moments standing in the stadium, thousands of people, all the work that you put in for 10 seconds and the adrenaline and the excitement, the whole, how do you describe it? It really is incredible.
He's devouring the track. It's Smith against the clock. Another world record.
Beijing was my first Paralympic Games. I was only 18 years of age. I had already won my first world title at 16, so I think going into them major championships it was a case of I was expected to win. And if you look at the at the past times, there's not many gold medals coming out of the Olympics or Paralympic Games, so coming back with the gold medal was satisfying not only for myself but for the country, because it showed that Ireland is a big mover and shaker now in the elite sport.
Simple stride by McKillop. Michael McKillop, Ireland's 5th gold of the Games. Time to celebrate.
I feel I'm in a good place, and this year I've been back training the last few months, and I'm in a lot better place than I was last year already. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I can run some quick times.
Paralympics Ireland has been a major factor in why I am successful. They picked me up at the age of 15 whenever I came on the scene in Paralympic sport. So I guess going from the age of 15 to now being 26 years of age and going to my third Paralympic Games, they've always been there to support me, and I think you can see it at such a prestigious event tonight, that working with the community within London, the Irish community trying to back the Irish Paralympic team is huge, and hopefully it is a success, because the only thing that's coming out of Rio Paralympic Games for Ireland is success.
Ireland in general, we consistently punch above our weight, whether it's in qualifying for the Euros in football and the Paralympics, all the medals we left London with in rugby. I think we just are a sports mad country, and that always comes around. I think the sport from 2012 was just absolutely fantastic, but it's always kind of driving us on to do better, and I think Rio is going to be a really big tournament for us, because we really want our athletes to do well, and for people to see how well they do on an international stage.
And the new website, if you can quickly give us that address.
Oh, it'll be the same address, www.paralympics.ie.
Well, it really was fantastic to meet such dedicated athletes, and we'd like to wish them all the very best in the upcoming games in Rio. We're going to take a break right now, but do come back to us for the second half of the show. You're very welcome back to the show. Well, the Irish Women's Survivor Support Network and the Whispering Hope Centre was set up to provide counselling and support services for Irish men and women who experienced the care system that was once run by the religious orders in Ireland. We went along to the centre in Kentish Town to find out more. Phyllis, the Irish Women's Survivor Support Network. Simple question, what is a survivor?
A survivor is someone like myself who was born out of wedlock, and you would have been born in a mother and baby home, where my mother would have had to stay for a few years until I was either adopted or sent to, as we call them then, a convent, not an institution.
And your own story, you were brought up in County Dublin, or in Dublin City?
In St. Philomena's in Stillorgan. I was sent there for a few years, and then I went to Lakelands Convent, Sandymount, Dublin. So I was around the Dublin area.
Which is such a shame, but moving to London and setting up the network here later on, how did that all happen?
Well, it was very odd, because for 30 years I ran pubs in London, and I just come out of the pub trade, and I just picked up an Irish paper one day, which I seldom did, and this job, someone was looking for someone who understood survivors, who perhaps was a survivor, to come along, because this redress, the inquiry into child abuse, as it was then, was starting up. And I thought, yeah, I'd like to work with this group of people, because I feel like we're all family. And we all understand each other, because we all walk the same roads. So I started doing part-time, and it just ballooned.
As a member of the board of the Ireland Fund of Great Britain, we've always been very supportive of this organisation since its inception. We saw the need for assistance to be given to those people. And over the years, we've watched it grow and grow into a situation where people were able to speak as they were with you today, from a point of being extremely nervous and extremely dubious about any kind of officialdom or suits or anything like that. So we think that it's been a very well worth organisation for us to be involved in.
There's a group of us, we meet 3 days a week. It's given us that we're able to speak out about our things that happened to us years ago, and our life in Ireland and what it is here. And the thing is, it has helped us, the well-being, especially the well-being day. What it done is We all talk about our experience, but what it does, we can write it down, and the group emphasise on us not to be ashamed or be embarrassed what's happened if we were put into a home or wasn't our fault.
Well, I was born in Crumlin and lived in Crumlin until we were 5, and then we moved to Temple Bar. You know Temple Bar? We moved to there, but we were all taken, there was 12 in the family, and my father was an alcoholic, so most of us, 5 of us one day, it was just went to Dublin, the coach, just 5 of you go away all on the same day, 5 out of the same family. That was 4 boys and a girl, Irish 5, went to St. Teresa's in Blackrock, and from there just taken straight out, put into our town.
I was born in Dublin and was there for 2 years and was moved from mother and baby's home to St. Joseph's in Kilkenny. Left there when I was 11 or 12 and went to Waterford for a couple of years and then back up to Dublin.
Being from Dublin, you could go out once a month. Like, you go from 9 to 5, come back at 5 o'clock. You were 5 minutes late, that was another hiding duty. And then you went out once a year for a 4 weeks holiday. If your parents wanted. Yeah. But yeah, most of the kids went out, yeah.
Going out for your 4 weeks holidays every summer, how was that and how did you feel having to go back?
Horrible. You go along the kids, no Eden kid, you go along the key there and every kid you see be crying, going back. They're only kids, like, 7, 8, 9, 10, like, every kid you see was horrible. And you never ever forget, it never goes out of my mind. You couldn't forget,
Well, my experience in Waterford wasn't a good one because of, I'm saying I'm the third eldest of 19. I was brought up in a brutal existence, in a life that there was no love, but I'm also a firm believer in that's the way their parents was, or that is the way the church thought was, you have to forgive your parents everything, which it is wrong. And then if you question that, lots of people I know was put into home straight away.
Yeah, but you just walk them where you get a clatter for nothing. You just, the way the brothers felt, like, there's nothing you could do about it.
I was born in Dublin, I was born in Ballyfermot, and I ended up in Artane, and when I was 10 years of age I went to Artane, and I was there till it closed actually. It went on fire in the end, and it's just that was a very sad time, very sad period in my life really.
I never told my wife when I got married it was in Artane. I didn't want to tell her. And it's only years later she said to me, it's not your fault. I wouldn't have minded that, but it was just the stigma,
I left there and I come over here to England and I've been here ever since.
I left the home, I think I was about 16. They put me somewhere to do someone's cleaning. I ran away. I met up with a couple of people in the park in Westmeath, at Lone, going to Westmeath, and whether you know that. And we came up to Dublin. We went up and that's how I started, and to get a place and sort myself out. And then I came over here and knew nothing. Never heard about the Irish Centre. I just came over to work.
I know you did mention earlier on that when you first came to London that you found it a little bit impersonal and you went back to Ireland again. But you ultimately settled here in London. How do you find living in London?
Yeah, I'm okay now, actually. I suppose, like here, the Whispering Hope Centre, it's been great, actually. It's something to get up for. And a lot of the people come here, we're in the same boat as myself, so there's no competition.
I just love it here. I love it. Everyone. You can talk to people who are all on the same level as me here. You've nothing to hide. They've all come from the same background. So it's just, it's not ideal. It's great. And Phyllis and the staff are fantastic. Really, really, I can't say enough about them. And as soon as you come up here, you feel at home.
What we've got also here is an art class. We've also got people who's like me who never knew how to use a computer. So through this, I'm perfect now at using a computer. It's brought to me another phase of my life. So by having them courses, it's helped us to adapt everyday life, to be able to cope with it, to be able to speak. And as a group, we can speak about different things. That's that's engaged, that's happened to us to the present day.
I got my confidence back, you know, and, you know, met up with people, met loads of friends, and learned a lot about it. I can't do without it.
I have a therapist that also Phyllis put me onto, and she helped me, like, you know, I mean, focus more on the positive things in life and where I should be going.
She helped me right through, brought me over to Ireland, see where I came from, which I didn't know, and that was a bonus. And she did so much. She just gave me another life.
For me, coming up to see Phyllis, it was Phyllis got them to see. Now suddenly, when Phyllis got to know me over a period of 2 years at the time, going back I've known Phyllis 11 years, she's got everything. They now knew me, they now had a name for me, they now had everything, only when she got involved. But first of all, they said I didn't exist.
Actually, since I started coming here about 2 years ago, I've started to turn my life around. And after having serious problems with drink and drugs and all like that, I'm 2 years clean now, and I've no need, and I don't feel any want to go back there, you know.
What would you say to someone that's thinking about getting involved in the network here and the support centre? Would you say it's the right thing to do?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like you'd be made to feel welcome, and like we're all in the same boat, so the door is always open.
We actually call her Mother Teresa. There's loads of her, and she goes around, she comes, she rings me up anytime. If I ring her at night time, anytime, she's there at the other end. And she'll say, whispering hope, you know, and I'll be crying, and all of a sudden everything will be forgotten.
It's a nice, quiet place to come, and you can hear other people's stories and things like that, and they're quite similar. We all seem to be quite similar in their stories. And yeah, it's good. It's inspiring, and it has the right name, Whispering Hope, because it gives you hope. You know, so.
So, Phyllis, if there's anybody watching tonight that wants to find out more about your organisation and possibly get in touch, is there a website they can log on to?
There is, yes. The website is www.irishwomensurvivorsupportnetwork.org.uk.
It was great to meet Phyllis and some of the people who attended the Whispering Hope Centre, and we really would like to thank them for taking the time out to speak to us. If you'd like to contact the show, send an email to ian@irishtv.ie, and also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have right now, but do come back to us next week when we'll be out and about in the UK.